Hey, what's up? This is Johnny McBee.
It's your boy, Hardcore KEEM.
It is November 28th, 2022. You're listening to Distortion Report, the place you can come every Monday morning to get your weekly dose of heavy music news. We're going to start with our hot topic and then get into 5 news stories. And before we get into it, make sure you follow on any of the platforms you're listening to, YouTube, Spotify. Give a follow so that you can be notified on your heavy music news weekly. So again, thank you for being here, listening to Distortion Report. Let's get into the first hot topic.
The first hot topic is our top 3 favorite vocalists in no particular order. I'll go first. I got...
Wait. Because there's a caveat here. We are not allowed to say... There's people that we aren't allowed to say, because there's some obvious choices in the modern world. Not allowed to say Lorna Shore. Not allowed to say Knock Loose. Not allowed to say Spirit Box. Not allowed to say Alex Terrible. So we're going with current vocalists, not those ones, though.
Easy.
So who you got?
All right. My number 1 slot, well, in no particular order, it'll have to be Kyle Anderson of Brand of Sacrifice. I followed him ever since he was in Centuries Apart, and he just really evolved as a vocalist. He went from Centuries Apart to, I remember Earth Shatter, and then he was in the After Image as well. He can do it all. He can sing. His singing is even crazy. Don't even notice, like when he's singing, you don't even know he can do like heavy vocals. He's that versatile in his vocals, and he's definitely in my top 3. He's just
the Demon
insane. King. Absolutely.
Yeah, I was gonna put him on mine, but I knew for a fact you were gonna say him, so I didn't.
Wait, did I give a hint, or did I said
no? I probably said you've talked about it before.
Oh yeah, for sure. He's insane.
So I wasn't even gonna put him on mine because I already knew you were gonna say it. So he is that good. He really is.
He really is.
So for me, my first one, I'm gonna go with Joe Bad, Fit for an Autopsy. He's absolutely solid. He's not the craziest dude out there doing the crazy gutturals and crazy highs, but he is absolutely insanely powerful, to the point where, I mean, he filled in for Lamb of God whenever Randy was sick or something like that. Like, he absolutely one of the most powerful vocalists, and he has the presence, he has the look. If you're talking about someone that is going to be like a mainstay metal vocalist, he is the one currently, I would say. And no particular order, but he just has that potential. There's some vocalists that do crazy stuff.
Right.
Joe doesn't necessarily do crazy stuff. He is just freaking the epitome of metal vocalist.
True. All right. My second one, I'm going to have to pick Mike Hranica of The Devil Wears Prada. It's the band that got me into the whole core, and his vocals really stood out, and it's still good to this day. And now he does a little, like, I don't know, it's not singing, but he like talks, it's like a little like a little bit like a whining, and it just sounds good. And his voice always just kept up throughout the years. He's been a band since like 2005, and he's really put his voice through the ringer, and he's still doing it. So definitely have to put him in there.
One of the only times I saw Devil Wears Prada way back in the day, he like went to a wedding or something, and so there was like random fans filling in. I was so bummed I didn't get to see him.
Yeah. And his energy is still crazy.
Yeah, and I think right now he sounds better than he ever has.
Okay. I'll give you that. I mean, he did. Okay, that's fine. All right, who you got?
Yeah, but you're nostalgic. You're nostalgic towards their old stuff. I'm not necessarily nostalgic towards their old stuff. So listening to their new stuff, I'm like, I like this a lot more than the older stuff. So my next one is going to be, this dude has a name I have never heard or seen, probably because they're Australian, but Alpha Wolf, I'm going to say Lochie Keogh is his name. It's a very, I don't know how to say that name. Sorry if I'm freaking butchering that, but Alpha Wolf is absolutely popping off right now. And my wife has really been getting into them as well. And I've been just hearing it passively. And then I actually dove into their music, and He's got the highs, a very aggressive, like high mid scream that's super powerful and that's really popular right now, like with stuff like Knock Loose. And then he's still got the lows, and I mean, he's got a lot of energy live too. So yeah, Alpha Wolf, Lochie, Keogh. I'm sorry, there's no way that's how that's said.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. It's probably like He's a really, really good vocalist. My number 3 slot will have to go to Adam Warren of Oceano. It really does speak for himself. He's just such an insane vocalist, and he also has like a rap project, like an R&B project, and he can sing. He has really good vocals. So that's my 3.
Yeah,
that's
my first tour ever. Oceano was on it over in Europe, and he's also one of the nicest people ever. And the Browning has toured with Oceano as well, and so not only does he kind of win as being a mainstay deathcore vocalist, but also he's probably the nicest person anyone would meet.
Oh, for sure.
So he wins that 100%. And it's just nice to see, some, mainstay deathcore dudes still absolutely killing it. And he's doing great with the content creation. And he goes by Adam on Earth on all of the stuff. And so, and his singing is top notch, solid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched him chuck a full milk crate full of cables at the crowd because they weren't moving enough. And, yeah. So as long as he's not on stage, he's the nicest person you'll ever see. So, and so my final one for both of our top 3 favorite vocalists. This one might catch some people off, but I think that this dude has probably the most ability that's seemingly kind of unrecognized in the greater scale of metalcore, deathcore. And that is Hunter Madison from Hunt the Dinosaur and Sorrow Eater. If you actually listen to the stuff that he's doing, you'd be hard pressed to find any other vocalist that can do it.
That's true.
Insanely fast, insanely percussive. He's got insane lows. He's got crazy distinct highs. You can understand every word he says. And his stuff with Sorrow Eater, it's a newer project he's doing, and absolutely crazy, super heavy, crazy technical. And again, I don't think you can put a lot of vocalists on a lot of different metalcore songs and they could kind of pull through with it. If you put 95% of vocalists in metal trying to do Hunt the Dinosaur or Sorrow Eater, they will not be able to do it. And so I think he has a talent that really no one else can touch.
That's true. His like a non, like how he says his words, you can clearly understand even when he's doing it fast. Like so fast. It's like it's so fast, and like he does it in one breath. Like I've seen him live a couple times. He does it all in one breath. There's like no gimmicks. Like he does this, and it's really cool. So shout out Hunter.
Yeah, and he's not just doing the highs. He's got some crazy lows and gutturals too. So he's really has it all. So for me, and also I didn't realize this because I actually didn't know his name. His name's Hunter. I wonder if Hunt the Dinosaur, if it's like he's saying him as Hunt is a dinosaur. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe. I think I remember seeing something like he just likes dinosaurs, and it was like.
Yeah, so he's calling himself Hunt, as in Hunter I'm
right.
Hunt the dinosaur. And it makes sense because he could be making dinosaur sounds. I don't know. Yeah. I didn't know that because I didn't know his name, but it makes sense.
That's cool.
Yeah, top 3. And there's plenty of good vocalists out there. Obviously, some caveat vocalists, I would say Gideon as powerful as it gets. And there's plenty of vocalists out there that are really, really top notch, but these ones really stand out to me as having some big time potential going into the future.
Oh yeah, for sure. Before we get into the top 5 headlines, I ask you one more again. Please subscribe to the YouTube. If you're on Spotify, give us a follow, give it a 5-star rating. It really does help out the podcast and get it to the masses because we are the number 1 metal podcast in the universe. Thank you.
There you go. Perfect. All right, the first headline, we are going to be talking about Crystal Lake. So not only was it just crazy that their vocalist left, I'm sure there was all sorts of stuff within the band, but seemingly out of nowhere to the public. And they're doing something pretty cool, and that is they are doing open auditions for their new vocalist. They're almost like turning it into a show.
Yeah. If you guys never heard of Crystal Lake, very insane band, and Ryu, was it Ryu or Ryu? He was a huge part of it. Well, everybody in the band has crazy energy on stage, moving 1,000 miles per minute the whole show, and he was a main part of that. So I know that, he's stepping down, but they are going to be missing a huge part, and so whoever fills that spot is going to have some big shoes to fill, because if they're not moving and everybody else on the stage is going crazy, it's going to look awkward.
Yeah, it is absolutely massive shoes to fill, because and Crystal Lake's one of the more popular like metalcore bands. If you get on like the metalcore Reddit, and if you're on all the metalcore stuff online, Crystal Lake is always towards the top of everyone's list. So there's a lot of eyes on it, and there's huge expectations. Crystal Lake has good music, but the vocals were extremely powerful, and he's a good front. So one thing I thought was interesting about what they're doing with it is that they aren't just picking out someone from Japan. They wanted all ages, genders, and nationalities. They said, we don't care. Just send your stuff in. I was a little too late, so I didn't get in on it, but it's interesting to me. Maybe it's because they are more concerned about not necessarily taking advantage of the Japanese market, but more so the whole world, which they might be more popular in the States than they are in Japan, just because they are one of the more popular metalcore bands here. So maybe that's why they don't care who it is. They just want a raw talent.
That's good. I didn't think about it like that. I just think they're just ready to get back on stage, and it was like, hey, we're just gonna pick somebody good. I don't know. I've never seen them live. Have you seen them live?
I watch live videos, but
I've never been able to catch them. I know people love seeing them live. So if they do pick a North America vocalist, we may have these opportunities, and maybe possible tour with them. Anything's possible.
Yeah. And I kind of watched through the video that they put out, and they have all sorts of different people on there. And I think it's cool they're doing that. Like, I actually have history with this. An open audition online is how I joined As Blood Turns Black back in the day. And that started off my whole career. I was 18 when that happened. So it'd be cool to see if they do find someone underground to be able to fill the shoes, and then start a whole freaking life and career for someone, like it did for me whenever I had the same situation kind of happen. So real excited to see that. They're doing a really cool, produced, it almost looks like a TV show, the way that they're doing it. They're doing multiple episodes with events, to the point that they're actually flying people out there to do live performance with them and stuff. So it's going to be a cool thing to watch.
No, that's actually insane. Like a game show.
It really is. Yeah.
That's cool. That's actually really cool.
Yeah, it really is like that. And so excited to see it. And my boy John is doing the vocals, or he's one of the people entered and that made it through the cuts. And John is the old vocalist of Last 10 Seconds of Life, John the Butcher.
John the Butcher.
I don't know if he still goes by that, but yeah, John, my dude John. And so he's doing that as well. And that goes into one of our next stories, which is talking about the new Last 10 Seconds of Life record. And what do you think of it so far? So
I heard the single. I forgot what it's called. It was the vocalist. He's tight. He's really good. He definitely fits their style. He's definitely heavier, or has a heavier tone than John. And I know a lot of people compare him to Stormy, which he's up there. He's definitely up there. He definitely fits the mold for Last 10 Seconds of Life.
So, but John added something to Last 10 Seconds of Life that Storm or this dude might not have. This dude might have it, but John has, like I was saying with Joe Bad, John has a strong, just metal voice, where Storm and this dude had just a freaking like nasty voice. Now John could do that too, but John also could do like those rock like yells too.
Yeah, almost like that kind of like singing type. I did like that one. I did like when he did that because he mixed it up. You know, it wasn't dynamic. It just wasn't the same cookie cutter stuff that most people do. He definitely switched it up, and it weirdly fit.
Yeah, they're like rock, like grunge rock, deathcore slam.
It fit. It definitely fit.
But this stuff is very similar to their first record. I think it's called Soulless Hymns.
Yeah,
I think that was it. Stuff like The Box, and so also one of my favorite things Last 10 Seconds of Life does is whenever Wyatt the guitarist does singing, he has this like almost Alice in Chains style like singing that he does, and so I hope that they implement a good amount of that into it as well. But it's like almost a whole new lineup. But I know Wyatt is the main dude, like, chugging through this stuff and making that band happen. So high hopes, because they just signed a unique leader before the whole band left. And so it was a big moment for the band. And so this is a big moment for them. And so everyone needs to check out the Last 10 Seconds of Life new record. And the first song is heavy. The vocalist, he's thick. He's got some thick clothes on him. Solid stuff. I'll intro this one because KEEM didn't even want to talk about it. And so we're talking about Pantera. Okay. A lot of people are here for hardcore, metalcore, but we're talking about a legendary band. You can't deny it. Pantera, one of the biggest and most influential metal bands of all time. They have some serious breakdowns. I didn't want to like them for a long time because my original drummer was so about them. Like, he still to this day dresses up as Dimebag Darrell for Halloween. So I didn't want to like them because he liked them so much. But after listening to them, dude, they have some serious breakdowns. And you have so many core bands that look up to them. And I mean, you have like Upon a Burning Body covering their songs, they're heavy. And so for anyone that doesn't know the news, obviously Pantera had 2 members pass away quite a while ago. And so this is big news that they were coming back and doing tours, and they got Zakk Wilde on guitar, and then they have Charlie, the drummer of Anthrax, on drums. And so massive lineup. They're extending their tour dates even more in the summertime, and either it's going to be a really good show or it's going to be an absolute crapshoot.
Yeah.
So either way, it's going to be something to maybe go see. And the drummer said that after the first rehearsal, he said, "I need a drink," is what he said. So who knows?
I think they'll be fine. They're seasoned vets, though. But it's like adding. We'll just see. We gotta see how it is because it's adding so many powerhouses all in like one band.
Supergroup.
Yeah, basically a supergroup. So we gotta see exactly how this supergroup is gonna make it out.
Either way, it's gonna be an interesting show. It's gonna be sick, or it's gonna be like absolute trash. I don't think it meets anywhere in the middle.
There's no in between.
No, there's really not going to be. I don't think, especially with Phil kind of sometimes going off deep end. Hopefully, he has his crap together and doesn't have any crazy rants on stage or meltdowns or anything. Yeah. So
no throwing up the white power. Come on, Phil. We good. We good. You know what I'm saying?
We can hope.
Keep it kosher.
But yeah, and then we got another festival to talk about.
Bamboozle Fest. What is Bamboozle Fest? I have no idea. This is the first time I'm hearing it. Apparently, this is the 20th anniversary of Bamboozle Fest. It's just think of a circus and think of many bands, many genres all into one. Listen to this lineup.
So you're saying it's going to be like Gathering of the Juggalos, big circus.
Basically Gathering of the Juggalos. This is happening May 5th through 7th in 2023 in New Jersey, and they released the lineup of Phase 1. You got, of course, the Kings and Limp Bizkit. You got Steve Aoki. I haven't heard his name in years. You got Young Gravy, Rick Ross, the boss. He's going to be there. Boys Like Girls, E-Town Concrete. You got Mayday Parade, Say Yosin, Say Anything, We the Kings. You got Kaunashi. They're in Philly. And you got Left to Suffer representing the Heavy Boys. And you also got Tala and Gideon. So
thing. Tala and Gideon too.
Right. So it's
how do you feel about these festivals putting so much different crap on there? How do you feel about that?
I think that's the best thing for festivals to do. That's the app. I think it's the best thing to do because you can get new fans like that.
I don't know. So I kind of have an opposite opinion because I just had kind of experience with this. I went to So What Fest in Texas.
Okay.
And it, as much as I love those promoters, they're some of the best promoters in the country or in the world. But it did feel like there was two groups of people at the show, and it was so disconnected, and there were so many artists playing. It was hard to catch like everything. And it felt like there was like the hip hop crowd, and then there was the heavy music crowd. And I don't know. Whenever you start adding stuff like Rick Ross on a bill, the ticket price starts skyrocketing.
Yeah.
And so they could have just done a new metal fest, and the ticket price probably could have been 30-40% less.
True.
But having this people that go to big hip hop festivals are used to paying a ton of money because they're seeing celebrities. People that are going to metal festivals, they'll still pay a good price, but I feel like the cost is going through the roof whenever you start adding like these.
Well, now that you said that, let's go over the ticket prices. Okay, so already for the weekend, from the 5th through the 7th, a weekend ticket. This is everything. All the numbers I'm saying is including tax. So for the weekend is $361.11.
See what I mean?
Wait for it.
Okay.
Now, if you want VIP, that is going to be $914.08. But wait, there's more. They have another layer, MVP VIP. So that's like the top tier. And they said you get an NFT with it. Nobody cares about NFTs, but it's $1,800.27. So
that's what I'm talking about. Like the base value, you can't walk in there without a spare $380 plus however much in gas or plane ticket plus hotel. Like if you're going to this festival plus food, you better have a spare $500-600 in your pocket because you also want some merch.
Yeah,
you want it to be worth it.
Yeah,
like you literally better be someone that has a spare $600. Like where are the festivals for the people? Like for realistic people, Yeah. You're talking about something that, let's say, average income of the country is like $2,500 a month or something, right? 1/5 of someone's paychecks has to go to this. So what if they just had Limp Bizkit as a headliner and then a bunch of core bands and some rock bands? Ticket had been $150.
Yeah. But now you got to pay $300 plus hotel, plus flight, plus
so that's my issue. That's my issue with this stuff. I want these people to scale back what they're doing a little bit, just personally, but maybe people love it, because it would be cool to go see Left to Suffer and Rick Ross. That's what I'm looking for.
Right. I mean, I do get it. So
maybe Rick Ross will get on stage with Left to Suffer. You never know.
Hey, anything's possible. It's Rick Ross, the boss. He's been an entrepreneurial. His content has been really funny lately. So anything is possible.
Yeah. All right. So the last topic of this week is talking about Pierce the Veil.
When's the last time you heard Pierce the Veil? Let's keep. I haven't heard Pierce the Veil in so long. They recently dropped a single. Two singles: Emergency Contact and Pastor Nirvana. They haven't released an album since 2016. The album was Misadventures. So they recently went viral again for King for the Day. You guys remember King for the Day featuring Kellen Quinn? That's been absolutely blowing up on TikTok.
When did that song come out?
That came out 2012.
Yeah, so they have a song from 2012 that has picked up steam on TikTok, and now they're kind of blowing up to bigger proportions than they ever had. Yep.
And it recently was on tour with I Prevail. They was opening, one of the openers, and I believe it was I Prevail, Pierce the Veil, and there was another band. There was another band with them. Forgot who it was, but from videos I've seen after Pierce the Veil set, majority of the crowd would leave.
Yeah.
Which is sad for I Prevail, but hey, that's business. It does happen.
I mean, especially whenever something just blows up, like, because realistically going into that tour, I Prevail would be the way more relevant artist, the one that's on top of it right now, because they really are. Is Fit for King on that tour?
Was Fit for King on that tour?
I think they might be. But so yeah, I mean, right now, I Prevail sitting at, what was it, like 4.2 mil monthly?
4.6 mil.
4.6 mil monthly on Spotify. That's absolutely crazy. And that song over 200 million streams on Spotify. So that just shows the power of the New World. That's not even a new song. It got just picked up on TikTok and people fell in love with it. And so it's cool that bands can still, like, it's kind of a good thing for the future looking at it.
Yeah.
Like being able to put out music, and you never know, 5-10 years down the line, that song might get picked up for some reason. And then, you know, it just makes it even more of like a nice passive income option if you're a creative person to put out music, because you never know.
It really is. It's, I would say it's kind of like, Can You Feel My Heart from Bring Me the Horizon. That came out in, I believe, 2012, the Sempiternal album. And that's been still a hot song for like 6 months. So, and they already been at the top of the game. So, this is just adding to it. And then Ali he's on TikTok like every day doing comments, replying to people, and, you know, just he's being active. So like in this day and age, 2022, if you're in a band, you also have to be active on social media. Like, you just can't drop music, don't say anything. Like, you have to be active in comments. You have to be talking to your fans. You gotta show your face. That's the only way to survive now. Yeah,
don't do what I do. Okay, do what anyone else does. That's the lesson here. No, but for real, it really is a good sign. You know, and so. You know, bands, you might not ever be able to get away from those old songs. You're just freaking stuck with it because TikTok. So. That's
why I joined them Browning. I'm the social media presence.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate that. Hey, so yeah, I appreciate everyone being here. Again, November 28th, 2022. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube and follow on Spotify, and leave that 5-star review so that we can start getting recommended to other people just like you that want to get a quick dose of metal news once a week. And appreciate you guys here watching. I'm Johnny McBee.
It's your boy Hardcore Keem.
This is Distortion Report, and we will see you next time.
Peace.